It's Friday, folks. We're finally here. And hey, it's a different show today, actually. You'll see. We're having a little collective celebration. But I mean, aren't we always? So, welcome on into the Blackhawks Daily, folks. I'm PJ Benoit. This is your home of the real daily story on the Chicago Blackhawks. No fuss, no muss. Just a fan. That's me, hanging out with his Hawks homies. That's all you fine, feathered folk. Talking hockey, a little general smack about our opponents. If you're new here, of course, we don't have any opponents. It's summertime. Now, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. They're right next to each other. We're over 1,500, which blows my mind. Would love to have you on board as we're pushing to get over 2,500, because why the hell not? Sky's the limit. Don't forget, give us a follow on Apple Podcasts. Give us a follow on Spotify. Check us out on Facebook. We are a media conglomerate, apparently. On today's docket, there's no broken records here. We're going to talk about why our America is better than everyone else's. And we're going to be waxing a little poetic about the barn. And of course, your hot takes. But before I get started, why is today special? Today is my birthday. Today is my birthday. So I'm going to share a little barley soda with you guys. A little New Glarus. A little Spotted Cow. We got our special glass here. Little Blackhawks. So I'm doing that with you guys. Yeah, it's the morning, but I'm a grown-ass adult and basically self-employed, so there's some little mud in your eye. So we're going to have a little fun today. So let's talk about 3 Blackhawk records. I got this from our boys at Blackhawk Up. 3 Blackhawk records that may never be touched, right? Records are supposed to be broken, or supposedly made to be broken. That's the line that we hear. But when you're talking about a franchise with a century of history, some records move past impressive and into a completely different category. There are numbers that would require a perfect mix of greatness, durability, opportunity, and frankly, a little bit of hockey luck. And today, we're talking about 3 Blackhawk franchise records that feel absolutely unbreakable. Tony Esposito's 15 shutouts, one of our favorite players, Steve Larmer's 884 straight games, and Bill Mosienko's 21-second hat trick. So let's start with Tony O. In 1969, the Canadiens left Tony Esposito unprotected in the intra-league draft. Montreal had a ridiculous amount of goaltending depth. Chicago took advantage. That one move changed Blackhawks history. Esposito arrived in Chicago for the 1969-1970 season and delivered one of the greatest rookie campaigns any goaltender has ever had. He went 38, 17, and 8. In 63 games, he posted a 2.17 goals against average, a .932 save percentage, and recorded 15 shutouts. 15. He won the Calder Trophy, the Vezina Trophy, finished second in Hart Trophy voting, and set the modern era NHL record for shutouts in a season, a record that still stands. To put that in perspective, Tony O's 15 shutouts were more than double what the most excellent starters manage in a full season today. The game is faster, the offenses are deeper, the power plays are nastier, the teams rotate goaltenders far more than they used to. Even if Spencer Knight becomes the guy that we all hope that he can be, and we believe that he can be, asking any modern goalie to chase 15 shutouts is asking something close to impossible. It just is. Next up, Steve Larmer, whose number 28 should be in the rafters. Larmer played 884 consecutive regular season games for the Blackhawks from 1980 through 1993. Did not miss a single game through his entire Chicago tenure. Think about that for a second. That's more than 10 and a half full 82-game seasons without missing a night. No maintenance days, no injuries that forced him out, no healthy scratches, no load management, nothing. He did it in the Norris Division era, when a trip to St. Louis, Minnesota, or Detroit could turn into a street fight before second intermission, before the puck dropped, right? Larmer was not just available, he was really good. He scored 40 or more goals 5 times in Chicago and was one of the most dependable players the organization has ever had. For a current Blackhawk to break that record, he would need to stay with the club for basically 11 seasons and never miss a game. In today's NHL, with injuries, roster turnover, and how the sport is played, that is a mountain. And finally, we have one that feels like it belongs in a video game. On March 23rd, 1952, Bill Mosienko scored 3 goals in 21 seconds against the New York Rangers. His first goal came at 6:09 in the third period. The Hawks were down 6-2 in this game. Just to put it in perspective, they were trailing 6-2, and he scored at 6:09 in the third. He then scored 11 seconds later. And then, after Chicago went on a power play, Mosienko scored and completed a hat trick 10 seconds after that. 21 seconds, 3 goals. NHL record. And Chicago ended up winning 7-6 in that game. At Madison Square Garden, last game of the year against the Rangers. Just nuts. So, and that record has stood for more than 7 decades. The closest anyone has come was Jean Beliveau's 44-second hat trick in 1955, and that's not even close. 44 seconds to 21 seconds. Mosienko's mark is so absurd that you would need 3 face-off wins, 3 clean possessions, and 3 goals without the other team finding a way to slow anything down. And that's why these records matter. They don't just tell us who was great. They tell us about different eras of Blackhawk hockey. Tony O owning the crease, Larmer answering every single bell, and Mosienko producing a 21-second burst nobody has ever matched since. Some records are made to be broken, but these 3, I wouldn't bet on it. So which of these 3 records do you think is the most unbreakable, the most insurmountable? And is there another Blackhawks franchise record that belongs on this list? Because we've got plenty of them. So let me know what you guys think. And then moving on from there, see, it's my birthday, so I get to talk about things that I really love. I mean, I love the Blackhawks. I'm going to talk about stuff about the Blackhawks all the time, but these are 3 things that I really love talking about. So today, you're going to get them. And it is my birthday, and I know I'm getting old because I went to bed feeling fine yesterday, and I woke up this morning, back pain, just from sleeping, back pain. Ridiculous. All right. Moving on from there, let's talk about the anthem. Let's talk about the roar that shook hockey and the story behind the national anthem and why it's really important and special in Chicago. I've covered this before, but I don't think I've done it this season, so let's talk about that. If you've never been to the inside of the arena before the game, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you have been, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's nothing in sports quite like the national anthem at a Blackhawks game. There just isn't. At other arenas, you're going to stand quietly, respectfully, you're going to remove your hats, you're going to listen to the anthem. Of course, that's what you do. In Chicago, the moment the first notes are struck, the building erupts. 17,000+ fans screaming, cheering, clapping, pouring pure adrenaline onto the ice before the puck even drops. If you're going to go to a Blackhawks game, you do not show up late. You're going to get to your seat early, specifically because this tradition is part of the experience. It isn't disrespect. It's pure passion, pride, and an overwhelming wave of energy that's meant to lift the home team and intimidate whoever is standing on the opposite blue line. Also, it's just such a wave of pride and patriotism. It really is. It is just such an uplifting experience. And while today we have the booming voice of Jim Cornelison bringing down the house at the UC, this tradition goes all the way back to the historic Chicago Stadium. It all started during Game 3 of the 1985 Campbell Conference Finals against then the powerhouse Edmonton Oilers. The Blackhawks had been outscored 18-5 in the first 2 games in Edmonton. The team was against the ropes, and the Chicago crowd knew the boys needed a spark. So from the very first organ note, the fans began to cheer, and they cheered through the entire anthem. And it worked. Chicago won the next 2 games at home to tie the series at 2 before Edmonton eventually took it in 6. But the tradition was born. The old Chicago Stadium was built like a cathedral with steep balconies, and it housed the Barton organ with massive pipes built right into the ceiling. Between the thunderous organ and 17,000 fans screaming right on top of the ice, the barn literally shook. Visiting players had talked about how terrifying it was to stand on the blue line waiting for the song to end. And then the big moment came on January 19th of 1991. That was the day the rest of the country found out what Chicago hockey was all about. The NHL All-Star Game was held at Chicago Stadium just 2 days after the launch of Operation Desert Storm in the Middle East. Tensions were high. The country was anxious, and the entire hockey world was watching on national television. So 2 days after Desert Shield turned into Desert Storm, it was our first real major military conflict since Vietnam, where everything was, our entire military force was out there. Lots of people were nervous. It was a big deal. And Wayne Mesmer steps up to the microphone, and the roar from the crowd was so deafening you could barely hear him sing. Everyone was there with banners, flags were waving, signs, because we all knew that the military was watching as well overseas. So lots of banners supporting our troops. Like it was so heartfelt. Wayne Gretzky later recalled standing on the ice next to Mark Messier saying, "This is unbelievable." He had heard it loud before, but never that emotional. The patriotism, the goosebumps, the banners shaking, it was one of the most powerful scenes in the history of North American sports. And since then, we've heard the anthem at the UC, at Soldier Field, at Wrigley Field, every sports arena in Chicago, even at the Indianapolis 500. Every time Corneliuson points to the flag and belts it out, you could feel the energy coursing through your veins. It's our signature. It's our identity. And there's nothing else quite like it in sports. So that's why I always encourage anyone who ever goes to a Blackhawks game, get there for the anthem. Don't be late. You can be late to pretty much any other thing. Don't be late to a Blackhawks game. Just don't. So I put it out to you guys. What is the single loudest, most memorable national anthem you've ever experienced at a Blackhawks game? And do you think the anthem tradition is the single greatest home ice advantage in the entire NHL? I personally think it is, because I do, and it's my birthday. I think that's hilarious. All right, moving on from there. Let's talk about the old barn. The Chicago Stadium. Why the Madhouse on Madison was unlike any place else on earth. So, Hawks fans, if you never walked into the old Chicago Stadium, you could still feel what it meant through the stories. Because the Chicago Stadium was not just an arena. It was a living, breathing, shaking piece of this city. And for Blackhawks fans, it was hockey heaven. The building broke ground on July 2nd, 1928, and opened March 28th, 1929. It was built by legendary Chicago promoter Patty Harmon at a reported cost of about $7 million. At the time, it was the largest indoor arena in the world. Now, it was not built solely for hockey. Harmon envisioned a massive all-purpose entertainment palace, boxing, political conventions, rodeos, concerts, basketball, ice shows, you name it, everything. And it did do everything. Like, there were political conventions there. There was boxing there. Everything was held there. The first event in the building was actually a championship boxing match. But for us, it became the home of the Blackhawks from 1929 until 1944, and eventually it also became the home of the Bulls as well. The building itself was something to behold. Architect Eric Hall reportedly believed the fan paying the lowest ticket price deserved a clear view just like the fan near the action. Imagine that. someone caring about the lowest paying fans. Wow. The Chicago Stadium was designed with a massive 266-foot unobstructed span over the floor. No interior columns blocking your sightline. 3 tightly packed seating levels rose above the ice, steep and close enough to make visiting players feel like the entire building was hanging over them. And the details were pure old Chicago. The exterior carried Art Deco flourishes, tall vertical windows, flattened columns, athletic relief sculptures, and wrestler medallions above the entrances. It had the feel of a grand civic cathedral built for competition, spectacle, and noise. And then there was the organ. The legendary Barton organ had 3,663 pipes, 6 keyboards, and more than 800 stops. It was the largest theater organ installation Barton ever built, a sound said equal to roughly 25 brass bands. And there is a correction worth making, because the reality is even crazier. It wasn't delivered by a few trucks. Contemporary accounts say that it took 3 freight trains of 8 cars each to transport the organ's parts to Chicago. Think about that. 24 rail cars worth of pipes, percussion, equipment, and sound installed high in the ceiling of the building. Al Melgard played that organ for decades, and when he hit it, it did not simply play music. It added to the intimidation. The organ droned, the crowd roared, and the steel and concrete building trapped every ounce of sound. And that's why it became the Madhouse on Madison. And then in 1973, Blackhawks owner Bill Wirtz brought in the horn from his yacht. And that horn sounded after Blackhawks goals and helped establish a tradition that eventually spread across professional hockey. The organ, the horn, the steep upper decks, the anthem roar, the smoke, the noise, the history, that chill air in that damp building, the absolute madness, right? Chris Chelios put it perfectly. That building made the Blackhawks. The UC, the United Center, terrific home, and it's carried many of the old traditions forward. But the Chicago Stadium was different. It was imperfect, and it was intimidating. It was loud in a way that modern era arenas simply cannot replicate. It was not just where you watched the Blackhawks, it's where you felt them. And if you experienced the Chicago Stadium, what is the first memory that comes to your mind? And do you think any other arena in sports has ever matched the atmosphere of the Madhouse on Madison? I have not experienced that. Now, of course, I've not been to every arena in sports, but there has not been a place that I can remember that has been like the Madhouse on Madison. So let me know what you guys think. Have you been to something akin or equal to our beloved Chicago Stadium? Let me know in the comments. And moving on to comments, Aegis Wealth, I'm going to say is a new commenter because I like the name. So welcome to the party, pal. Love the Chemist shirt. Met them a few times, had a few beers. Genuinely good dudes. Give fellow Colorado band Wayfarer a listen. I will. Gotta check them out. Tool, my favorite band. But I will definitely check them out for sure. Thank you so much for that. And welcome to the party, pal. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Joshua Bauman, 3209, repeat offender extraordinaire, our pal from the Bay Area. Hey, PJ, don't know about you, but I'm ready for the season to get underway already. Yeah, I am too. Right, we're in the doldrums now. So let's get to some hockey. This training camp is going to be intense with some rising prospects challenging for roster spots. Poivert, Spellacy, and Vanaker will all be making a case to take some spots from veterans. Year 2 of Blashill's system should see an uptick in cohesion and be more technically sound with players needing to think less. That goes for this season too. I'll be looking to see Lev Shanov's pure ability shine through more, as he shouldn't need to think quite as much. And Kaner, what's his impact going to be on the youngins? Manifesting a 90-plus season for our guys. Exciting stuff. Go Hawks. Love it, Joshua. Love the energy, man. Thank you for being a part of the channel. As always, Metal Shed, repeat offender extraordinaire. Never heard of Chemist before. You should definitely go check them out. I saw them when I saw Mastodon. But I dig the art. It seems like the psych doom metal bands have all killer art. Absolutely. John Dyer Baisley from Baroness does amazing artwork. Yes, he does. I think he does all their covers for all of their albums. I'm rocking Ancients today, which they're great. They cross into psycho doom metal realms. Check them out if you haven't. They're wonderful. Pride of Vancouver, BC, Canada. I've played a few shows with them. Wow. Well, then you are a master. You should. What's the name of your band? Is it Metalshed? Great band. Blackhawks Talk. One of the biggest questions I'm looking forward to seeing answered this season is how the special teams will be. Unanswered question. I'm hoping that we don't lose on the PK, and I hope we gain a lot on the power play. They had the best PK last year, which was a big highlight, but some of the key players that were part of the PK are gone. My hope is that the Hawks can become a 60-minute team. Very true. We were a great 40-minute team last year. They had flashes of that up until they became injury-ridden last year. Consistency is the key. I do believe that it'll be Nazar as first-line center, at least to start the season, but we shall see. I'm not on the payroll. Love your show. I try to watch every day. Thank you so much, Metalshed. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of the channel, man. Really appreciate it. Vince Nacarado, 7832, repeat offender extraordinaire. I recall this moment like it was yesterday, Chicago, playing the North Stars right before a face-off. Willie Plett was messing with Al. Al just gave him a right to the face. Plett went down. Ref just waited for Plett to get up on his skates, drop the puck, and let him play. Yes, that would not be allowed in today's game. No, that would not. Oh, the old days. So good. Thank you, Vince. Thank you for that. Miles Rotger, 5397, I believe has commented before, so I'm going to say welcome back. But if not, welcome to the party, pal. But I believe he has said before. We need someone with Bedard's skill and Larmer's durability. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? 884 games, and even more skill than Larmer, even though Larmer was very skilled. That would be amazing. Yeah, very good, Miles. Appreciate that, buddy. Trace Miller, Q2B, I believe also has commented before, so I'm going to say welcome back. Didn't Secord have a 54-goal season? I don't recall that. I'll have to check. I will look into it. Thank you so much, Trace. Appreciate that. Peter Olbrich, 8970, I believe has commented before as well, so I'm going to say welcome back. If not, welcome to the party, pal. The next time something appears here that is shocking will be the first time. Well, yeah, I guess you're commenting about the thumbnails. Hey, man, there's nothing shocking in the offseason, so... But I hope you're enjoying the content. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of it. Indigo68, repeat offender extraordinaire. These stats prove my theory that the Hawks need a veteran two-way forwards to teach the young men how to be defensively responsible. Kane will help offense, but not teach defensive responsibility that's desperately needed. True. Kane, not known for his defensive responsibilities. So true. But Green, hopefully can really work on that. He is a good 200-foot player. So thank you so much. As always, Indigo, you're great, buddy. Jim Boffia, 1896, repeat offender extraordinaire. The last number one defenseman the Hawks traded for was Seth Jones, and he was given a contract at the time of $9.5 million, which was 11.5% of the cap at the time. With Byram, $12.5 million. Hits this year, it's just 9%. By that time, Byram will not be the highest paid defenseman when the following season starts, so that narrative won't be at play. Since the Hawks seem tied to San Jose and Anaheim for upcoming clubs, I will not take the pairing of Byram at 12.5 and Vlasic, $4.5 million, over to San Jose age top pairing Nurse and Trouba, 17.5 combo. The Ducks, $16.2 million combo of Lacombe and Mintyakov. Byram play is a key for the next few seasons. If the Hawks are to find success, he has to lead this defense that needs to have 35-plus goals and need to lead a defense that doesn't help allowing 273 goals against like last year. Hate to make the assumption Byram will be a better number one than Jones, but that bar is pretty low. Great take. As always, Jim. Man, you are always deep in the numbers. I love it. Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate you, buddy. Sergeant Baloney, 66-62, repeat offender extraordinaire. I see Bedard as an 80 to 110 point guy. I don't think he's going to be a destroyer of worlds. Well, you know what, though? If he's a 110 point guy, that would be amazing. If he destroys a couple of worlds, I'm not going to complain. Christopher McGuire, 3469. Hope is not a plan, PJ. Too many ifs and maybes. I know, but I do watch the world through rose-colored glasses. I admit it. So thank you, Christopher. Appreciate you, buddy. Golden ratio, -J8M, repeat offender. Hey, PJ, listen every day. Don't think Gretzky would have done as well in today's game. It seemed like the referees protected him and the opposing players left him alone, mostly. I do think it's great that the Russian player has the goal-scoring title now and not a Canadian, LOL. Although I wish it was an American. Side note, it sucks that they don't let the Russians play in the Olympics or let them have a team in the 4 nations. Totally bogus. Should have been the 5 nations. Since joining the NHL, the Russian players have always had a big impact on the game. Just saying. Well, obviously the Russians are very talented, for sure. But they also love to cheat a lot. As a whole in sports competitions, a.k.a. the Olympics. True, golden ratio. Very, very true. Gretzky really put the NHL on his back and brought them to prominence in the modern era, right? He was like the Jordan of the time. Jordan exploded the NBA. Gretzky exploded the NHL. Basically, both of them did it at the same time. And so he was literally the golden boy of the NHL. No one was going to be allowed to rough him up, for sure. So, great point though. Great point about the Russians. Yeah, they have a lot of talent out there, and now we've got one of the most talented on our team. So hopefully Kanserov just blows it up. It'd be amazing. So thank you very much for that. And that is a wrap for today, Blackhawks Nation. So here's to you guys. Hope you guys, hope you guys have a fantastic Friday. If you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Just helps us keep climbing. Sky's the limit. Please remember, if you don't like this, well, then go check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well, on Facebook. Like I said, we're a conglomerate now. If you wish to get a hold of me, LinkedIn, fantastic way. Just search for Blackhawks Daily. And if you're a regular, thank you so much for your support. It's an absolute honor building the very best community in all of hockey with all of you guys, right? So as we say, we celebrate the very best team in hockey with the very best fans in all of sports. That's all of you fine four-feathered folk in the greatest city that this world has ever known, our beautiful Chicago. I hope everyone is fine with all of the rain and all these friggin' storms that keep blowing through. It's ridiculous. There's more storms this weekend. I'm kind of sick of it. I'm kind of over it. I'm sure all of you are as well. I'll be at the Bears game tomorrow, which is awesome, and it sucks because no starters, I guess, or very little starters are playing, but at least it'll be at the Bears game, so that'll be fun. So if you're there, hey, how you doing? But have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to be enjoying myself, and, be safe out there, but just have the best weekend. I am PJ Benoit, and we will see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.